What is going on? I am Cole and welcome back to my channel. For those of you who are new here, thank you for stopping by. I like to talk about my most anticipated comics for each week. Usually I talk about why I'm excited to read them, and for some of the number ones I like to show off some of the coolest covers just to let people know what is out there. So if that sounds like something that you want to watch, make sure to stick through this intro.
Most anticipated comic books. Most anticipated comic books from Cole.
So for those of you who have stopped by and watched this video before, this is something you've probably seen me do before, but every week I like to go to League of Comic Geeks and kind of show what books are coming out each week. This is what I use to figure out my list that I use this video for. So one of the things is that while League of Comic Geeks may not always be perfect, sometimes it has pushbacks, sometimes there are delays and paper shortages. It is usually the best resource that I have found so far to figure out what's coming out from each publisher each week. I will say that sometimes there are delays, sometimes there's paper shortages or other things, but so far it is the best thing I have found online. I know other people use previews, and while previews can be good, I do not think they have DC, and there are certain other indies, if they don't publish through Diamond, they are also not in there, but I think overall it is the best platform, and it usually makes this the easiest for me. There are a ton of books coming out this week and a ton of stuff that I'm excited for. So I have been catching up. If you watch some of my community posts, I've been catching up on my comics. I did a bad job towards the end of it because it became a lot of work, but I'm going to try and continue to keep up with some of those. If I'm catching up on a big run, let's say I read more than like 3 issues of something, I'll probably post that and discuss it because I kind of enjoy that, and sometimes I do enjoy reading that type of a run for comics. One of the books that I caught up on is Batman, and Batman 130 comes out, and I think Chip Zdarsky has done a pretty good job at Batman. It has been probably the best Batman that I have read in like 2 years-ish. And I don't love Failsafe, who is the antagonist in the story, but I'm excited to see what happens with this. I think this has been a good story. And overall, if you are not checking out Chip Zdarsky's Batman, this might be something you should put on your trade weights. Speaking of books that you could be trade waiting for, Do a Powerbomb is coming out with the final issue of the series. If you've heard me talk about this, I think it has made my list most of the times that it comes out. It is one of the best books that is coming out in 2022. So I would say, if you haven't already, Do a Powerbomb is a book that you should be putting on your must pick up trade. End After End is another book that has made my list a ton of times. This is the penultimate issue, and I am excited to kind of see what has been happening in this alter world. I love the idea of this book, and it's just one of those books that I kind of want to talk about to get into people's heads, because I think that Tim Daniels and David Andry have been doing a solid job with this book. All right, so we had 3 small intro issues, and hopefully you enjoy that, but there's just so much stuff to talk about that I could not mention those books. The next book that I'm going to talk about is the first book up on my list, and that is going to be Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur #1. This is from Marvel Comics. I do not know too much about Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur. I think that they had a small little run with the Champions, but they were not really there for a long time. But my daughter gets older and she kind of gets into some of these comics with me. I have been trying to gravitate towards stories that have, young female leads, so that hopefully when she becomes a little bit older and wants to read some of these comics, maybe I'll have some stuff that this is a character that she likes. I will be able to have some of those books so that she can be able to read and enjoy the hobby as much as I do. And it's fun learning about new characters. One of the things that I love doing when I show off these #1s is show off some of the variant covers. And I think there are 2 variant covers that should be on the shelf for everyone to grab. And that is going to be the Peach Momoko cover. If you know me, I love Peach Momoko. She is one of my favorite cover artists, and I love what she does. And another one is the Scotty Young variant. He is one that I know a lot of people like. I'm not always into, his stuff, but I think with this character, especially with the dinosaur, he does an awesome job of emphasizing, how they look and adding his little spin to that. So let me know what your thoughts are on Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur. I do not know the creative team of Jordan Infuenco or Elbez Glez, but overall, I'm excited to at least dive into this number one and see if it is a book that I will like or not like. And yeah, I mean, if you have read some Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur in the past and you have some recommendations on good runs, let me know in the comments down below and I will check those out. And the next book up is another Marvel book, and that is Miles Morales, Spider-Man #1. As I mentioned, my daughter, one of the things that she really enjoys is she has been watching Spidey and His Amazing Friends. And it is a show that she loves just as much as I do. I enjoy watching it with her because you know what? It has been fun to be able to share the love of comics with her. She has created a new love for Spider-Gwen, and you have probably heard me talk about Spider-Gwen more than I probably normally would if it was not for her. But another character that she has loved because of that is Miles Morales. This story is going to be written by Cody Ziegler with art from Federico Vincentini. I'm not really very familiar with either of them. Cody Ziegler does sound like a familiar name, but I've not read anything from them. But once again, this is a #1 of a character that my daughter really loves. So I'm going to have to check this out. This book has way too many variant covers. So I'm just going to throw a few of them out there that I like and go over them. First off, there is this Jean Jang cover, which I love this one. It's kind of like this weird upside down action. He's shooting some electricity / webs out of his hands. And yeah, it is definitely a cool take on that. I love that Miles kind of has the cool shoes at the bottom too. There is also 2 Peach Momoko covers, but this is the one that is not the 1 in 200, which for me will probably be unobtainable to get, but hey, this is a sweet Peach Momoko cover as always. We've also got this, which is a Zulu cat variant. I have not heard of Zulu, but I do love that Miles is loosely a cat. I think that if we were at the comic book shop and my daughter saw that, it would be a cover that she would probably love. There's also this Mike Mayhew variant. I just love that this is almost that negative space kind of variant, and looks great. Next up, we have the Ivan Tao. I had to put this up because it's got Spider-Gwen on it, and as I mentioned earlier, one of the reasons why I'm looking into these new characters is because my daughter is a huge fan, and Spider-Gwen is her favorite. And hey, Spider-Gwen's even got the crown on, so my daughter would probably love that. And the one that, is probably the weirdest of all of them, but there's a blank cover for this, so hey, I always like to grab blanks in case I'm getting a sketch cover done. And the final #1 of this is going to be Gargoyles #1. If you are a kid growing up in the 90s, similar to myself, Gargoyles was probably a huge part of your childhood. There are, this is something that I have not gone back and visited, but to be completely honest, I might go back and watch Gargoyles with my daughter and see, what her thoughts are. And if she doesn't like it, hey, maybe it'll be that thing that I put on before I walk upstairs to go to bed, just reliving some of the nostalgia of my childhood. I normally don't really, grab kind of this stuff, but Gargoyles is so fun. And Dynamite has been putting out some of these cool stories, which makes me interested in going back and doing some of these nostalgia reads. This is from writer Greg Wiseman and artist George Combadius. I probably butchered that too, and I am sorry for that, but there are a ton of great covers. You've probably already seen the A cover, and this might be my personal favorite. It is by David Nakayama, who is one of my favorite cover artists too. We've also got this 1 in 20 video packaging one, and I think this is the original logo for that, so it's very cool looking and just pulls back that 90 nostalgia of those bubble tape VHS holders. And there's a purple blank cover. I love these blank covers because I can either have, my daughter draw on them, or I can bring them to either somebody in the community, or if I'm at a Comic-Con, I will bring them to certain artists there and get a sketch cover done. And Gargoyle seems like one that could be very fun for people to use. So one of the things I've added in the last few weeks to this video is that I have been asking some of my friends in the community to come on and intro their most anticipated book of this week. I love being able to hear, I've always mentioned mentioned that let me know in the comments. I love talking about it. I love hearing it. I feel like by bringing them on this show and they get to talk about what their most anticipated comics are, it helps me figure it out a little bit more too, and it adds things to my radar that I might be missing. I only can get so many comics, so I like to get other people's opinions to help you know what's out there. So I asked my great friend Bruce over at Bruce and Stephanie's Comics to come on, and this is what he has to say.
What is going on, comic book fans? Welcome back to Cole's Comics Claims, and this is his most anticipated comics of the week of December 7th of 2022. And guys, I'm sure he already told you that this is a gigantic week in comics. My League of Comic Geeks pull list has 37. That's right. 37 books on my pull list next week. There are so many cover lover picks, so many almost top 5, and so many must-have pickups. Well, I'm only gonna have 5 on my must-have pickups video, but for this video right here, I have 1 cover lover pick and 1 must-have pickup. So my cover lover pick for this week is Daredevil issue number 6, the Peach Momoko cover. She just happens to have a few covers that are gonna be on my list, but this Peach Momoko is just for Cole. Cole, this is an amazing cover. I'm probably sure you enjoy it as well. If you don't, you can tell your audience that, don't listen to Bruce, listen to me. But I think this cover is absolutely fantastic. Now, the book that I'm going to share for my must-have pickup is going to be Kaya, issue number 3. Now, this is written and drawn by Wes Craig, and it is a really freaking cool story with some amazing, very stylized artwork that I am really, really enjoying. Now, this story follows a brother and sister. Now, the sister has like this cool, magical, mechanical arm, and they just might be the only 2 humans left on the whole entire planet, and they are trying to get to some city. And on the trek to this city, they meet up with this group of lizard people, which they just happen to know, and they join their crew as they go on this journey, and some really cool things happen on this journey. And this is definitely a coming of age story because the brother is learning how to deal with the fact of being a little brother, and the sister is doing her job protecting her younger brother, and there's so much more to the story. You guys should be checking this story out. The artwork is fantastic. It is a little stylized, and that might turn some of you off, but guys, I am telling you, give this story a chance. It is so much fun. So those are the 2 books that I would like to share with you guys for Cole's video. Again, if you guys are not subscribed to Cole, you guys should be doing that right now because Cole is such an amazing dude, and he puts out so much amazing content. Every single day, it seems like Cole is posting some kind of exciting video. So those are the 2 books, and that is it for me, Cole. Thank you so much for having me on your channel, and I will catch you guys on Tuesday with my must-have pickups. All right, guys, enjoy the rest of this video, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.
So thank you for that, Bruce. I did love that Peach Momoko cover. I think you know me that I pick her covers a lot of the times because she is one of my favorite cover artists, and that one is fantastic. As for the book you pick, I have not been reading that, but that definitely seems like something that I will have added to my trade weight list, and I will grab that because it definitely seems good. I know most image stuff is on Hoopla, so maybe when that drops on Hoopla, I can add that to my tablet and give it a read and see if it's something that I love as much as you did. I know that you do love these coming of age stories a little bit more than I do, but I still think that this has been solid, and I have heard a few other people talk about that. So once again, if you have not been subbing Bruce and Stephanie Comics, I'll have a link to them up here. Make sure to hit that and give them a follow. Bruce comes up with a list similar to this every single week where he talks about his top 5 books for the week. The next book up is going to be Escape from Wyoming, issue number 2. This is from Robert Venditti and artist Jorge Monolago. This is a bad idea comic, and if you know, I'm probably going to talk about a bad idea comic every week that they come out. This has been super solid. I love that first issue. It did come out about 5 weeks ago, so I might go back and reread it, but essentially the idea is that there is this maximum security prison for aliens. Some of them escape, and there is an alien that got arrested that was an alien cop that now needs to help this human cop find these aliens that have escaped from the maximum security prison in Wyoming. This is a very fun book, and I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I do love all the backup stories in these books, and yeah, if you have a store that has bad idea comics, I highly recommend giving them a try. This one is a more of a crime comic, but I love them. I think, their marketing has done some stupid stuff in the past, and people maybe didn't like the way that they handled. But I think on this second run, they've been doing a pretty cool thing where one of the big things they've been pushing to earn free comics, all you have to do is start promoting your shop or go to other shops and buy stuff from them and promote the shop and tag Bad Idea in it. It is a weird way that they're doing marketing, but they have been pushing back to support these shops, and that is a great thing, I think. So, overall, I'm going to continuously talk about Bad Idea because I love the comics they put out. I think that the paper that they use is just of a higher quality than some of these other ones, and they might be a little bit more expensive, and they might have some hokey things, but overall, I have enjoyed everything that I have read from this company, and if I did not like it, it was at least well written, just not for me. And the final book is going to be That Texas Blood, number 20. This is a little one-shot, I think, from what I've been told, and it's more of a Christmas issue. I'm pretty sure that Chris Condon wrote on either like Twitter or Instagram that this will not be collected in the trades. So if you've been trade waiting this might be one that's worth picking up. If he did say that and that's real, I'll probably have put it up here so we can confirm it, or maybe I just made that up in my headspace. But Chris Condon has been doing a fantastic job. Jacob Phillips is on art and also has been crushing it on That Texas Blood. It has been one of my favorite comics of the last 2.5 years, and it has just been super solid. It is what I like, which is it mixes like, small town slice of life stuff with this crime story. You're just going through the history of, Joe Bob, the sheriff from a small town in Texas, and, everything about it has been great. There's been some weird things where you kind of get, is there some supernatural in here? Is there not? So that's always been great. And normally I don't talk about these other covers, but there is a C cover here that kind of has the image of this kid reading a Spawn book, and I thought that is pretty good. I am kind of looking at what's happening on these covers, and I think that this might be a book, spoiler alert, that may or may not make me cry at some point, but who knows? We will see when we get there. But That Texas Blood will always make my list. If you have not read an issue of That Texas Blood, I highly recommend going on to either Hoopla or buying the first trade. It shouldn't be that expensive, and I personally think it is a awesome read. Now, here is a part that is maybe a little bit more of the bummer part of this thing, but I've usually been talking about comics, and sometimes these are comics that I read, sometimes they're things that I don't recommend, but this issue is going to be something that I was kind of excited for. I don't even know if it made my top books, but we're going to talk about Fantastic Four issue number 2. I loved what Fantastic Four issue number 1 did, and I thought it was fun, but it was mainly just this like weird, Ben Grimm book that's kind of a standalone. And as I've mentioned, I've been trying to cut down what I have. So this is just this is going to be an issue with Invisible Woman and Mr. Fantastic. And while I think that it'll probably be pretty cool, I don't know that this is something that I want to read monthly. And I'll probably just end up getting this in a trade because I think the stories are good. But, when I can only have so many books in my weekly pull, this is one that I think, unfortunately, would make the cut just because I think it'll probably read better in a collective. And it's not, that first story was great and I had a lot of fun reading it, but it wasn't even like close to my favorite read of things that came out that week. And that's kind of how, I've been rating these and putting these aside. So once again, thank you, Bruce, for coming on here and helping me with this. If you want to come on here and talk about your most anticipated comic for the week, let me know. I can fit you in, and I would love to hear what you have to say. For everyone who has stopped by and watched this, thank you so much. It means the world to me. If you could hit the like, that would also help me out here. But if you have a book, a cover, or whatever that is coming out this week and you want to let me know about it, leave a comment down below. I would love to hear what I am missing. These are just kind of what I like, and I like to put that out there, but I also love to hear what other people are interested in. So let me know if there's something out there that you think that I should not miss. As always, I have been Cole. Thank you for stopping by, and peace.
Most anticipated comic books. Most anticipated comic books from Cole.